So check this out. The hoodie on the left cost me $29 to create and fulfill. The hoodie on the right cost me $27 to create and fulfill. But I sell the $27 one for twice as much, and people thank me for it. The hoodie on the left is from Print on Demand when I was working with a company called Printful, and the hoodie on the right is from an Alibaba supplier that I sent a custom tech pack and pattern to. In this video, I'm comparing all the costs, the fabric quality, how much I sell them for on my website, and more. Hopefully by the end of this video, we'll give you a much clearer idea of the difference between print on demand and placing a bulk order for custom pieces. So the print on demand hoodie was a Gildan 18,500 blank with a direct to garment print on the front. I sold this on my Shopify store for $50. These are custom terry fleece hoodies that I had manufactured from an Alibaba supplier. I sold these for $100 on my Shopify store. Let's compare and contrast the two hoodies, starting with this Gildan blank that I printed on. The fabric quality of this Gildan blank is straight mid, 325 GSM with a weird plasticky polyester feel because they cheap out on the cotton blend. The ribbing always stretches out after like 2 washes. The shoulder seams never lay right, and the direct-to-garment print quality looks washed, faded, and chipped away after a few wash cycles. The sizing is allegedly consistent, but I don't have the most faith in the Gildan quality control. The custom terry fleece hoodie from the Alibaba supplier, on the other hand, is much higher quality. 560 GSM is thick. It's practically a light jacket, and about double the weight of the 325 GSM Gildan hoodie. There's a proper cotton ratio, so the hand feel is premium and soft to the touch. The logo embroidery on the front and the silk screen print on the back is elevated from the direct-to-garment printing on the Gildan hoodie. I was able to send the manufacturer a custom pattern and a custom tech pack, which means that the fit actually makes sense for my demographic. The people that buy my brand want a really soft, really warm, slightly oversized hoodie. I was not able to make those specifications when doing print on demand because they don't let you send in a tech pack. You just have the blanks that they supply. You need to pick one. In my case, I picked a Gildan, and then you just got to work with what you got. All right, so let's talk about the costs. There is a $29 base cost to print your custom logo on this Gildan blank through Printful, which in my opinion is absolutely insane. It's super expensive. But on the bright side, there's zero upfront cost and there's zero inventory risk. You do not have to place a bulk order just to get this up on your Shopify site and start making sales. But when I sold this hoodie, my margins were absolutely cooked. I sold it for $50, but it cost me $29 to manufacture and fulfill, which means I made a $21 profit. That's a 42% margin, which is pretty mid. It's literally impossible to wholesale. Let's be realistic though. What store wants to stock a Gildan blank hoodie with a random brand's logo on it? But really what mattered more to me was that I couldn't do sales without destroying margins. So I was running Facebook ads to sell this hoodie and other various products. I liked doing some kind of holiday sale every 6 to 8 weeks, which would move product, but a Black Friday sale was impossible to do without completely destroying all of the margins. The custom terry fleece hoodie from the Alibaba supplier only cost me $22 to make, but then you got to add shipping, which is typically $3 to $5 per unit. I use Pietra for all fulfillment, and that's $1.50 per unit, and customs. But if we do the math, I sell this for $100 retail, and it costs me $27 total to manufacture and fulfill, which leaves me with a $73 profit or a 73% margin. I can wholesale this hoodie to retail stores at $50 to $60 and still make money. And there's more room for sales and promotions. That way, if inventory is moving really slow and I need to introduce a 15% discount to move that slow inventory, it's not going to completely destroy my profit margins. However, there are some hidden costs to be aware of. For example, samples with an Alibaba supplier is going to run you like $200 to $300 with shipping. And the minimum order quantity is usually 100 units. So that's like $2,200 up front. All right, so before we wrap this, let's just go over the pros and cons of each. If you're going the print on demand route, You barely need to use your brain, and you don't really need any experience. You can ship products the next day after a customer places an order. You don't have to order any inventory, so there's no risk, and it's good for testing designs. But the cons, you have terrible margins, the quality is straight garbage, zero brand identity, and everybody is using the same blanks. And by everybody, I mean all of the really low quality TikTok brands. So you're immediately putting yourself in that pool. Those are your peers. Pros and cons of the custom terry fleece from the Alibaba supplier. Pros, actual good margins. In my specific example, I had a 73% profit margin on this hoodie compared to the print on demand's 42% profit margin. I was able to use premium materials with a fully customized design, resulting in my brand looking way more legit. And there's also a real quality control process. So I can make sure that all of the hoodies are exactly how I need them to be, both after the sampling phase and after the bulk production is done. For cons, you need to front a bit of a bag. If you're working with a supplier that has a 100 minimum order quantity and you have to pay $22 per piece, you're looking at around a $2,000 minimum just to get started. Lead times will have you waiting 30 to 45 days to receive your shipment. Samples cost actual money. I'm talking a couple $100. You need basic supply chain IQ. If you don't know how supply chains or fulfillment works, you're going to need to research on that. Otherwise, print on demand just handles it for you. Customs can sometimes be a pain, but for the most part, that's not really that big of a deal. In conclusion, the only reason to use print on demand is if you're broke or you're testing designs. Most solo entrepreneurs or small brands are scared of the upfront investment. Couple grand here, couple grand there for inventory. It adds up. But if you're doing $27 per unit for the Alibaba supplier versus $29 per unit for the garbage Gildan hoodie, it's actually wild. You're going to make almost 4 times the profit per piece if you go with the Alibaba supplier. For what? Really, it comes down to just having the courage to order 100 units. And I understand a couple grand is really way too much for most people, but there are lots of financing options out there for small entrepreneurs. And for me, I decided that I was just going to grind at my day job and then invest money from that into inventory. In my opinion, the whole print-on-demand industry is built on convincing people that paying more money for worse products is somehow smart business because you don't need inventory. But I don't think that's smart business at all. If you're just starting out and you're testing things like I was, perfect. I think print-on-demand is a great place to start. But once you become a little more business savvy and you receive demand for your products, getting away from print-on-demand as fast as you can is going to help you make way more improvements in the short term. So that's it for this video about print on demand versus Alibaba suppliers, using a specific example from my brand Pathos of Things. If you'd like to get these slides for free, as well as all of my other resources, PDFs, whiteboards, AI tools, and more, get them at the link in the description. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover in a future video, please leave a comment and I'll see you in the next one.